Here we have the district map showing the Lachlan-Cadia lineament in this area and the township of Fifield with the Rimfire exploration tenements shown in red. In the adjacent map on the right side we see in yellow the Sorpresa Gold Project area, which sits in a cross-cutting corridor with the Platina-Tresilva trend and the Lachlan-Cadia lineament. If we have a look at the snapshot of the Fifield area, we note that there are extensive gold workings as reflected historically in the red located areas. The Sorpresa Gold Project is shown in yellow and is the focus of today's discussion. This map represents the mineralisation zoning as interpreted by Rimfire at Fifield. We see the Sorpresa area in this location, and we note the black silica areas which we determine as the gold receptive horizon in these black mapped areas. The focus of discussion today is at the Trench 31 location at the southern end of Sorpresa. This map represents a close-up of the Sorpresa area. It shows the RC drill programs that were conducted in 2011 in the locations outlined in red dashes. This map shows a backdrop of the geochemistry position at Sorpresa, and these positions are shown in pastels, red, green, blue and light green. The red areas are plus 25 parts per billion in gold. The focus of today's discussion is in the southern area, which is the Trench 31 area, and we will reflect this in the video.
We're back to Trench 31, where so much
happy hunting ground.
Yeah, so much change for Rimfire. And what an enormous amount we have actually learnt out of this tiny area in this whole field. I suppose in some ways it's really made a lot of sense as to why it wasn't found before. It is more than subtle.
Yes.
It's virtually invisible, even though it can go up to very, very good grades.
We've had in excess of 60 gram in the RC.
Yeah, it was a 63 and over a metre. Normally those sorts of things have all been well and truly found when they come up to the top, or when the top goes down to earth. But anyway, here we are. There's been a lot of drilling here, as you know. It's been carefully done so that we don't make a big mess, because we want to hold a reputation for being responsible users of the land. That's the original Trench 31 there. We had an auger line through there where we started off just saying, is this soil anomaly got anything to do with commercial ore, or is it just a high background in rocks? It could have been anything. It really wasn't that decisive in its own right. The auger holes went through there and they said this could be ore. The trench went in and it said this definitely could go, and by ore I mean ore grades, it doesn't mean there's an ore body. The drilling's been of quite adequate quality to take that through. We have so much more to extend away from here.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? So far, if we go along strike, we've got something like 270 odd metres, which is prospective and open, but it just represents a small component of the much bigger gold mineralised system that we're seeing. And we've learned so much in the geology, not just the gold intersections.
No, absolutely. And we have to actually look out in the surrounding country with this knowledge.
Yeah.
The truth is, we can have a major ore body just under the dirt, like 200 metres away. So we have to be careful. If we go into here and we fully delineate the Trench 31 lens, we might do it at the expense of walking away from 5 million tonnes 200 metres out that way.
Yeah, and that's the balance.
It is a balance if your mineralisation is actually all the way up to the top, and you've got the black silica sticking up through the soil. Now the black silica gets fractured underground, so it's already pre-broken into lots of little bits. But this is what you see on the top. And the things that make it important is, one, it's not grey silica, it's actually black. And the other thing is there's quite a lot of iron associated with it, and that's important. If you don't have that, then you mightn't be getting the gold. So that's our receptive horizon, and the signatures of it being mineralised are that it is brecciated in places and it has a higher iron content. So when we get that recipe that's looking good, we then obviously assay the soils and things, and then we go from there and auger holes through it. But that's what it looks like. It's not vast mountains of black sticking out of the ground. It's pretty disappointing looking, to be quite honest. I mean,
well, that's why it's still here. No one's
absolutely
pieced it together.
You could drive past that. You could have your house on it for 100 years.
Wouldn't see it.
The southern part of the Trench 31 area, where we go from tree-covered areas out into open paddocks. Now, so I'm standing on black silica, I'm standing on gold mineralisation. We've got a few drill holes extending out about 100 metres out there which have gold in them.
That was the September program that we just finished?
So we just had a go at seeing if we could latch onto it, and some of the holes did quite well. The black silica horizon is just going out across that grass paddock and going and going, and we're heading down there, and it's proving to be quite exciting. The black silica is rolling on and it's looking mineralised, and we're expecting to get down through there and with gold mineralisation extending on. These are the things we've got to do in case we've got a major ore body out there which is just mixed up in the soil.
Yeah.
And
we've got all that historic evidence too, haven't we, in that sort of south-west corner where historic scratchings have been looking for gold 100 years ago, or whatever the timeline is.
Yeah, some in the 1920s. In those trees there are numerous workings.
Yes.
They're in the footwall part of the black silica sequence, and yet, they've got quartz veins and other disseminated gold. They're in the footwall. They're not in the ideal place.
Yes.
So we just haven't got our exploration across to that. But there are gold mines, there are gold mines and gold scratching in amongst those trees, and it's the best kind of footwall geology you could ever hope to find.
What sort of scale out to those trees there, Colin, roughly?
Well, that's a kilometre.
So
that's not the end of it.
Absolutely, but just for perspective on this area here.
Yeah.
So we've got a kilometre out that way, and we know that Sorpresa from the Trench 31 area extends with our drilling and our work 1.5 kilometres in the northeast area as well. So already we've got a largely defined area where we're gaining confidence, I think, in the drilling and what it's showing us in the geology. And
now, look, if you go down depth, it doesn't just keep on going like that. That receptive horizon, like on our model, it's up and down and all over the place. If we look completely out that way, we're looking back into Rimfire's own freehold property, that belt of trees out there.
Yes.
Now, underneath those trees is black silica.
Yes.
We didn't know it was that important. Our drill holes, as we were testing gravels and things, are going down into black silica. Now we think it's really important. So in terms of going down depth, we're out there and we've still got the receptive horizon rolling along. So that's a huge amount of ground, and but it's a great position to be in. Very exciting for an explorer.
Yeah.
It really is.
And this Trench 31 area, essentially we're talking in the immediate Sorpresa area, prospective with the right sort of geology, about 4 square kilometres, and it's
Yeah, that was the figure we sort of put out to give a ballpark thing, and that just keeps growing. It's not often you get to be the first one on new gold field to sort of see what you can really do with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, even at this stage in my life, I'm getting a bit older, but that's really an exciting position to be in.
With the black silica geology and how we've mapped it and what we've learned at Trench 31, we're developing, even within this broader area, 4 square kilometres roughly, a conceptual exploration target that's quite substantial. I mean, we're talking something potentially that's of the order of 500,000 to 1.5 million ounces, assuming, of course, continuity and grade maintenance in the gold and everything else. But all the signs in the geology with the black silica don't lead us to be discouraged. Not at all.
So, I mean, you can expect it to be difficult because it hasn't been found before. There's reasons, you know, the reasons are there. It's difficult to see, it's not what you expect, it's tricky. Those are all the things that if you're going to be the first person on a new field, you're going to have to experience why it wasn't found before.
Sure.
To live with that and work out your ways around it, and we're doing. That's all coming together better than you could hope.
Yeah.
So, but within a decent stone throw of here, you know, we've got a fair income pod that I find it difficult to imagine that it wouldn't eventually get mined. So,
yeah. So that's
quite amazing.
Well, essentially in 12 months we've grown to this position, both in terms of a localised understanding of something that's working up into a pod resource within a much bigger system, but now the bigger, grander geology is unfolding, and you know, we're pretty hopeful, frankly, that we can make some good inroads in the next 12 months.
Yeah, we're really gearing up to now that we're getting a clearer picture of what we ought to do. We're really trying to put everything in place to be able to do it at a respectable speed. It's a lot. I feel a lot more comfortable about doing it when I feel like I've got a fair idea I know what I'm doing. You know?
Don't we all? It's been a great exercise in tuning through our soil geochemistry, through our auger drilling, through validation of the trench, and then very surgically placed RC holes, and building the chemistry profile and the geology to give us a model that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, not the last drill program, the one we did
in May.
Before that in May. That's pretty scary for me. You have no idea what your geometry is going to be once you put the drill on it. You've got to be really ready to move.
Yeah.
It could have been going vertically straight down into the ground. It could have been going near enough to horizontal. It could have been doing anything.
Yeah.
And were we going to actually get drill holes into that gold? So I honestly felt quite nervous and on edge about getting it right the first time. The second drill program, we're starting to sort of just take some risks and just see where it does and doesn't go.
Yes.
But that first one, where we had to sort of prove that it wasn't a freak bit that we hit in the trench, so we had to show that it wasn't a freak bit, it's there. You know, we would say to ourselves, it can't be a freak bit or we would never have found it.
Yes.
You know, we'd have to have so much luck or bad or good or whatever you say. But the first program of drilling to actually see the gold come up the hole, it was a great relief.
Yes.
And then it went past relief and became quite joyful.
Well, look, the thing is that we had something like 34 out of 56 drill holes with an intersection of 1 gram per tonne gold or better in 2 metre intervals as a minimum. So by any standards, as a first pass program, we'd have to be delighted with that. And then on top of that, we saw some excellent grade, and we saw the continuity in the pod, particularly in this area at Trench 31.
Yes, we did.
So I think we really did exceed our expectation in a first pass program.
Yeah, so I was able to sleep again.
But not rest.